Rachel Catalina Cantu. I just want to start off by saying real quick, I hope you're having a good day, or good morning, or good evening, or good night, whatever time you're watching this. I just want to jump right into this. I already stated my name. My name is Rachel Catalina Cantu. This is my mandatory book chapter information speech. I'll be going over chapter 19 from our public speaking textbook. I kind of want to give a little bit of background information about him because a lot of my speech I use the textbook a lot to form this speech. His name's Stephen E. Lucas. He's a professor of communication arts at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. The textbook was published in 2002 by McGraw-Hill Education, and I'll be using a lot of his sources and things like that throughout this speech. So if you hear any keywords or anything like that, it's from the textbook, unless stated otherwise. Sorry, I want to start off by saying this speech. By the end of the speech, you should be able to distinguish and tell the difference between the two main types of online speaking or online speeches. And again, I'll be going more in depth into the two different types here in just a minute. But I want to start off by saying that, again, I'm going to be talking about two different types of online speeches. With that being said, since the keyword is online speeches here, and for both types, you'll be doing it in the online environment. And in the online environment, it's like any environment. So you will have different types of interruptions or even interferences that come with any type of environment. Those could be physical interruptions. Someone could enter your room, or someone could enter someone in your audience's room, causing a distraction. Noise from the outside of your room or noise from the outside of your audience's room, again, could cause, a disturbance, and, they could lose focus easily from your speech. Or even a glitch in the system or the software that you're using, or, a glitch or anything like that could happen on the audience's end, and, that could cause malfunctions and things like that. Or even lagging or buffering could occur, again, on both ends of the speech, from the speaker or the audience's line. But the thing is that I really want to make clear is that those interferences and disruptions that happen in the online environment, those are completely out of your hand. You cannot do anything. You can't do anything. You can't do anything about your mom coming into your room or your sibling coming into your room. You can't do anything about lagging or buffering. It's completely out of your hand. And and if those things happen in your speech or in your video, you shouldn't beat yourself up too much about it, because again, those things cannot be avoided, and they shouldn't be worth like stressing out about it, is what I want to get through. But I want to start talking about the two different types of online speeches. I want to start out by talking about the first one, and that one is the real-time online speech. It's created to view on an online software in real time. And, obviously you'll be using, a software suited for that purpose. A great example of that would be Zoom or WebEx, or, I guess even FaceTime if you want. I'm just coming up with, examples of, those types of softwares that you could use. Typically your audience will be gathered in a classroom, an office, or even a conference room, depending on, depending on what type of online speech you're doing. And the thing that I also want to mention with the real-time online speeches, you will be seated when you're giving your real-time online speech. You'll be seated and you'll be talking via the webcam or camera or whatever you'll be talking to, but it's typically going to be a webcam, and that's where you'll be communicating throughout the whole presentation or speech. And some of these things will be overlapping with the other type of online speech, just because there's only a slight difference in how these speeches are performed or done, because the second and last type of online speech is a recorded online speech, and that's what I'm doing right now. And the only difference between these two is that one is recorded and the other one, it's again in real time, like how the name says. So the things that would be overlapping for the both of these is that you're talking to a webcam, and that B, both of these are in the online environment. So again, those interruptions that I mentioned earlier could happen in both of these speeches. But the recorded online speech, those are designed for viewing on the internet, and essentially, and I'll go into why that is. And typically the speaker, they prepare for months on their presentation or speech, and on this and on the speech day, they will get on the stage and talk to an in-person audience. But that in-person audience is not necessarily for show, but that speaker will be talking to the in-person audience, but their targeted audience, their main audience, will be the online people. And again, like an example of a recorded online speech would be, the best one I could think of would be a TED Talk. They spend months preparing their talks, and then those videos are edited and then uploaded to YouTube, and that's where their targeted audience is, the millions of people that are online and that are on YouTube, because anybody in the world can access YouTube. Just about anyone in the world can access YouTube, and that opens up so many different types of doors that you can have from the recorded online speech. And for both the recorded online speech and the real-time online speech, for the most part, it's going to be almost like giving the real traditional speech, like you would like in the blood and flesh in front of your classroom or your future dream job or anything like that. It's going to be almost identical to the real thing, but you're just not physically present, and that's the main thing here, is that you're not physically present. But I want to start closing this out. Before I close this out, actually, I wanted to mention Tim Cogel. He is a consultant in the political world for both the Senate and the House. He wrote a book that was he wrote a book called Public Speaking Virtually. It was first published in 2021 by the Greenleaf Press, and in his book he deals with it's basically like the handbook or the manual to giving any type of recorded or real-time speech. It is phenomenal. But what the passage, or I guess the phrase that really stuck out to me from his book was, he said, "Let your confidence and enthusiasm flow through your voice." And I really do feel, I felt that, and I kind of wanted to pass on that information to y'all. He in the book states a lot about how you want to present yourself and how to, keep people, engaged with your presentation. If it's either recorded or in real time, it's really key to keep your audience engaged. And he just talks a lot about that, and that sentence caught my attention. Again, to close this out, I want to start off by saying that both speeches must be adapted to the online environment, which is the focal point of this whole speech here. And, again, these online speeches can also be almost as challenging as a traditional speech. So, if you're doing an online speech, you shouldn't just, push it aside, or, I'll be like, oh, I'll do it later, and try and prepare for it in a day or two, because you are not going to get the speech that you think you are going to get. You need to take your time. Like this, if this were a traditional speech, you cannot slack or anything like that. You have to act like this is real, and that's what's gonna get you that perfect end result if you take this seriously. And that's what I really wanted to leave y'all off with, is that if you take this seriously, you will get the perfect end result for your speech. And if everyone can follow that, you will have a successful speech. And that concludes my mandatory book chapter information speech. I wish y'all the best, and I hope you have the great rest of your day. Thank y'all so much.